Hi guys, this is Elaine with Neon Owl, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I am hanging out here with Elaine from Neon Owl. I'm excited because today's a big celebration. First of all, 10 years. Congratulations with the 10-year anniversary of Neon Owl. And today's a big moment because you get to do this collaboration, this new partnership with Icon Collective. And, you know, for you, starting from the beginning to now and seeing how much you've not only evolved, but how much impact you've had in this industry, like, how do you feel about that?
Jeez. Okay.
Big question to start out.
Well, first off, I'm really excited to be here today at Icon because I feel like it's kind of like a match made in heaven because, you know, this is like a really epic production school and they've had like amazing artists come out and they really foster community. And really that's what we're about as well at Neon Owl Open Door Sessions. And I'm like super excited to be here because we've done a lot of events. This is our 60th event. Wow. So it landed on 6-0. So it's our 60th event, and we've done it with different partners, different cities, different clubs, different venues. So I'm just, first off, really excited to be here. And last month, we just crossed our 10-year anniversary, and we've been doing these like series of events. This is kind of like the last one to like kind of wrap up the full
celebration.
10-year celebration. So I feel like it's really fitting and it's bringing two amazing communities together. We have a lot of amazing guests today and we're expecting like over 100 people here. So I'm excited. And it's Coachella weekend. So
and it's Coachella
thanks for
weekend
coming
and people
here.
are still
like
coming through.
over 100 people coming. So yay.
I mean, there was a couple people that were waiting for the doors to open earlier when I came in.
I was like, and that was cool. 11, an hour before. I'm like, woo, like,
things are happening.
And there's a lot of people flying in today too from different places. So Ray, who's the co-founder, my brother, was just saying like, do you realize that like people fly to our events? And it's not like some festival, right? It's like cool. It's like about like community, bringing people together, connection, collaboration. So it was kind of like weird to let that sink in because my personality is very like go, go, go. Yeah. So it's hard to like celebrate the wins. I was like, oh, people have spent their money to fly, get a hotel, and do all that to come to this event. Yeah. Weird.
sometimes you need to stop and take a breather and like just see what's in front of you. Because I totally get that. I'm the same way where it's like I'm not focused on all this stuff that's happening. I'm just focused on getting to that end point. And I forget to see the wins and
stop and smell the roses.
Yes, we need to. Over the years, I mean, the last 10 years, I'm sure has been a roller coaster ride for you. What has that experience been like? And like the fact that every time you do a new event or you work with new talent or new people come into these sessions, how do you see it? Do you see it like evolving drastically? Do you see it like a slow kind of evolution? Do you see it like a natural progression?
That's a good question because like oftentimes we have people say like, oh, you guys like are blowing up, like coming up quick. I'm like, oh, like coming up quick, 10 years, like, okay, like, and a lot of people don't see what's behind the scenes. So Neon Owl has been a very organic evolution from one thing to another because we really started off as like, I left corporate America and I was like, I want to do something I'm passionate about. I thought I wanted to work in nonprofits, but then I figured there was like too much rules and regulations when I went to interview these nonprofits. Then I was like, you know what, I'll start like a community that merges people. I love people. I love talking to people, meeting people. I love festivals. I love raves. I love music, all music, but especially electronic music and that culture. I just fell in love with when Ray took me to my first EDC. This is like, I don't know, 13 years ago or whatnot.
Changed your life.
It did. It sounds cliche, but it did change my life, you know? And it changed the trajectory of my life and where I was going to go and do. And so we really started off more as a community. And we were doing blogs, we were doing interviews, like, and we still do. So we started more as a blog to meet some of the people behind the scenes. Festival founders, why they quit their jobs or why they started a company on their credit card debt, right? Like Jason of Groove Cruise. We started interviewing some of our favorite artists, right? And Andrew Rael, which is, one of our favorite artists, ended up being our first charity line ambassador for merchandise. So we actually didn't do open door sessions to begin with. the first 3 years, it was all about meeting people, sharing their stories behind just the cookie cutter version, right?
Yeah.
And so by doing that and finding out what they care about, what drives them, what motivates them, we actually made a lot of friends in the industry. And at the same time, I was really about discovering new talent. So I loved helping like the underdog or the person on SoundCloud with like 20 something followers.
Yeah.
So it was like, how can we merge the relationships we've gained that have the power to help smaller and rising artists? So 3 years into Neon Owl was when we started Open Door Sessions, which is these events about like curating like content, talks, panels, demo listening, helping artists get signed, get discovered. And that also about 3.5 years ago evolved into the mastermind program, which is like those that are a lot more serious and they want to meet every week, get coaching, accountability, meet different guest speakers. So one thing has led to another. And then in 2 months, we're launching a record label.
Oh my gosh.
So
I was gonna ask. I was like, when is the management and record label happening?
So the management just like started it.
Because I feel like that's something that's like there.
So like many people was like, oh, when you start a record label, when are you gonna get into management? I was like, no, that's too much stuff. But eventually, I guess you can't like ignore, right? They're like, you're basically doing these events and you're in many ways bringing the A&Rs together. You're A&Ring yourself. You're just helping them sign on to other labels.
Yeah.
But since you guys care about the artists so much, like, why don't you guys do it? You know? And I was like, you know, maybe it's not the person that knows the most, but the person that cares the most.
And that's how it should be. I feel like unfortunately the industry has gone more towards like a money type of experience rather than like a personal experience. Like there's not that many people that are still in this industry that started because of a passion like you, right? So I feel like it's only proper to do that. You're giving these opportunities to individuals that are now artists or are now becoming artists. And that must feel amazing too at the same time. How did you really go about that? Because it's like, it sounds, I know you kind of quoted it earlier, but it does sound like everything just started to happen on it organically, but like quickly at the same time, even though it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
So how do you get yourself situated when you're in New York, you're in Miami, you're in San Francisco, you're here in LA? Like I feel
Don't ask me where I'm going.
I feel like this
tomorrow.
month, I feel like this month and this week has been just intense for you. So how do you keep that all collective with your team?
Well, there's never a good answer. There's never a good answer because like I'm kind of like crazy. My brother, luckily, is way more grounded than me. So like even in the beginning when we started Neon, I was like, yo, let's start this thing. Music, DJ, ravers, like charity, t-shirts. He was like, like one DJ, Andrew Rael. And I was like, yo, don't worry, because my background is in biz dev.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, we can go knock on doors, aka Instagram, Facebook, emails, like, and that's kind of what we did. And so he definitely keeps me more grounded. Like, hey, have you thought about this logistically? Yeah. And I'm the dreamer.
What do you mean we're gonna be in Korea in an hour? Like,
I'm like, no, let's figure it out. Like, it's like it was never about the money for me. And honestly, it's like 10 years later, it's like I used to make more money at my job, right? But it's about trusting the process. And like I always say yes to things. Now I'm learning to kind of scale back and say no because now that we've expanded to so many different cities, we have so many different pieces under Neon Owl, like the umbrella, that we're like, okay, let's do more intentional events. So this past year, we've actually slowed down a little bit as far as like number of events. Okay. But we try to do more intentional events like this one. Yeah. Right. We just did Miami Music Week. I was speaking at Winter Music Conference and we hosted our 10-year anniversary show with Bose, who also happened to be two brothers, artists that I discovered when they were at the 26 followers on SoundCloud. Wow. And now they're like international touring DJs and it was very fitting for them to come back and do the 10-year. So it's like really just talking it out and deciding like, okay, are you doing this because you feel the need to grow and help more people? Or are you going to do all these events and it's going to have less impact on the people you end up helping? True. So it's a weird push and pull. I win more. But,
But for today, for example, this partnership with Icon Collective, like what kind of impact does that have for you? But also like moving forward and doing these open door sessions.
So today's, like I said, it's really special. Like it's our 60th event, and it's like really full circle because we've worked with a lot of different brands, right? Whether they're different record labels, distribution, like publishing, like sync, different like promoters, right? Different festival throwers. And for Icon, I feel like the impact it has is it's really bringing two communities together that really go hand in hand, right? Because people come to this really prestigious school to learn everything, right? Production, like DJing, they learn the music business. So these people are really serious. Like I'm serious. Like some people literally are like, hey, mom and dad, I don't want to go to college. I want to be an artist. Well, once upon a time that was not really accepted, but now
it's still questionable.
Oh yeah, and I'm a first generation Chinese American, so I can say how my mom felt and dad when I decided to leave my job to do this. So it's like the people here are very serious about pursuing the artist journey. And same for Neon Owl, right? Like our general community has everyone, right? Festival goers, like DJs, producers, singers, songwriters. But our open door sessions community, they're majority like artists, people in the music industry. Yeah. So when we put these two communities together, I think that magic always happens. But today, some magic's going to happen for sure because we have A&Rs, right? We have like talent buyers. We have these artists. We have singer-songwriters. So anytime we leave an event, there ends up being countless collaborations. So just imagine that on crack today here. So I don't know what's going to come of it, but I know it's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Yeah.
What has been like a favorite moment that you've had on these open door sessions? Maybe it was like an artist discovery or a collaboration that happened, or, the potential of getting signed or something. Like what has been that moment for you?
So we've had many songs signed and like people booked and collaborations, but I think that there are many, but a few moments is I remember one of the first, like I think it was like Open Door Sessions 3.0, like one of my good friends, Marlo from Australia, came and he did the panel and he did like, he has his own label as well, Reaching Altitude. And one of my good friends, Kepik, who's also my artist now, he had been kind of transitioning genres from like trance to kind of like bass. Yeah. So his music it didn't quite fit under either labels. And Marlo was like, screw it. Like, I'll take a chance. This is amazing. Like, I'll sign you. So that was like a really cool moment. And then at that same event, we had this other guy, Triode, submit a Castles in the Sky remix. And Marlo loved it so much, and so he took out his phone and did the light thing, and then everyone did the light thing.
Oh my god, what a moment.
And then they ended up working with one of my other good friends, Linny. Yeah. And so I just found out recently at a recent LA open door session, she was like, thank you so much. I was like, for what? She was like, it's because of you and that event that we three connected, and then he brought me on tour to Asia and Australia. I was like,
Linny's been everywhere in the last few years. Yeah. And now I know why.
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, huh? I was like, oh, cool. So it's like these moments, like they happen often, and sometimes I don't know or hear about it because I'm, doing my thing. And then when I hear the full circle moment or story brought back, it's like really special. And of course, now I have a few artists I'm really invested in that they've, Julie, who's sitting right there. They came to open door sessions, whether it's virtual or in person, as their first exposure. And then you see them like kind of shy, kind of timid, kind of introverted bedroom producer. And then
she's turning around as we speak. Like, she's not even looking at us.
Like, don't look at me. And then when they get the feedback from much more seasoned people in the industry, they start to build that confidence, and you see them at the next event and the next event starting to own it. So that's not like the craziest thing that's happened, but it's like a feeling.
But it's a thing that's consistent with, with
it's
everything.
Like a feeling.
Yeah, that's cool. And it must feel amazing being able to kind of see that evolution of an artist where they come in being shy, unsure of themselves, and then you see that confidence kind of expand or explode in a sense, I guess. Like with this collective that's going on right now, what are you looking forward to for today? Like, I know you said it's going to be magic for sure, but like, is there any panel or any situation that's happening today that you're looking forward to the most?
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot programmed today. So we have Skeletons doing a track breakdown with her song with Micah Martin on Mousetrap. Then we have a really cool songwriting session with Kindred, Blake, Sarah DeWarn. I never considered myself an artist. And then people was like, you are an artist. I just don't make art as in production.
Yeah.
But doing all this and being around all of this, I've been like, oh, let me learn about this. Let me learn about songwriting. So it's like, I'm really excited for all the sections and including the talk. But my favorite part is usually the demo listening party, because you get to see people vulnerably share their art. And sometimes there's some like crazy, insane talent. You're like, WTF, like,
This
why
needs
are you
to
not
be
signed?
somewhere else. Yeah.
So that's always, and I haven't listened to any of the demos today. We got like 30 something demos today. I haven't listened to any of them. I'm not the one that sorts through them, but I'm excited to be surprised later.
That's exciting.
Uh-huh.
That's exciting for artists that, you know, are interested in this and want to pursue this. How do they get involved? Like, what do they do? Like, where do they go?
Yeah. So I think like the easiest way is, of course, the general Neon Owl community. We're always hosting events, whether that's shows, right? Like we actually put on shows as well. These mixers, these open door sessions, both virtually and in a lot of the major cities where electronic music is big. So you guys can always come out to the events, or virtually we'll do them like every other month or so, because we want to make it accessible for anyone, anywhere in the world. So that's like the first exposure. And then I would say nothing beats in-person events.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not economical or logistical, like it's not easy, but it's so cool to like meet someone, like shake their hand, hug them, actually like vibe with other creatives.
Right.
So I recommend coming out to the in-person events, especially the ones in LA, because I was telling you earlier, everyone who's like really serious about music, not everyone, but a lot of people who are
here,
serious are here in LA. So I just recommend like people coming out here, or, you know, we'll be doing ADE again this year in Amsterdam. And yeah, just find us on socials. We're really active. We do a lot of different things. We do like mix competitions.
Nice.
Like we did like a mix submission. People could play tonight at the show at Catch One that we're doing with Somna, like another good friend of ours. So we do a lot of community oriented things.
That's cool. That's cool. And I guess to close this off, for you as a personal topic, like you said that EDC was your first experience of electronic music, but I'm curious, like what was that first artist that you witnessed at EDC that made you be like, wow, I love this industry?
So I actually do remember it. So like, because you never forget. I feel like your first rave or your first like super cool moment. So at that time, I had gotten into electronic music a little bit. My brother was always listening to it. So there were specific artists I was looking forward to seeing. I think that year was like Andrew Rael, like Hardwell, and I don't know if Avicii was playing that year, but he definitely played the first couple EDCs I went to. So there were artists I was looking forward to seeing, but we had just gotten in, and I think it was like kind of like dark-ish, but it wasn't too late.
Yeah.
You know, the rave squad is like kind of running late, you know, and so I walked
Gotta make an
into
entrance.
this like EDC thing. I was like, whoa. It was like I was like, what is this, like a carnival for like adults? Like, so I was shocked by all the stimulation. I still think it's one of the best produced events, like period. Then I heard this like crazy music. I love all electronic music, but hardstyle is one of them.
Yeah.
Or at least I didn't know I liked hardstyle until
you experienced it.
I heard this like crazy set, and it ended up being Lady Faith.
Okay.
So people probably don't know this about me because I talk a lot about like techno and Afro house and bass music, but it's like, I was like, what? So I like ran over. I like left my squad. I was like, I'm gonna be right there. Come find me right there. So I like ran over. It was one of the smaller stages. I think it was called like Bass Pod or Bass Con. It was the hardstyle stage, one of the smaller stages, but like the vibe was so crazy, and I felt like everyone was dancing like really crazy to like hardstyle, and I fell in love with Lady Faith and hardstyle after that. So that was the first set I witnessed when I walked into EDC.
Man, Lady Faith changed your life.
So shout out Lady Faith.
She coming tonight?
I think she lives in LA. Like,
I think
she. Where you at?
She either was just at Academy or she's coming to Academy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's awesome. Well, congratulations with the success. 10 years is not an easy thing to do, especially in the music industry. I feel like it's easy to kind of lose yourself in this industry because so many things are always changing.
Yeah.
But you're killing it. You're making opportunities for artists. You're making artists live out their dreams, and I'm sure you go home feeling amazing after that. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for hanging out with me. Guys, be sure to check out Neon Owl. Check out all the events that are going on. Like she said, stay tuned on social media, and hopefully you can catch the next one. So thanks for hanging out and watching our Front Row Live.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.